and welcome to my reality Jeep life and my daily vlog of 2013 with me, the Vermont Jeepgirl, and I'm glad you can join me today. I got a little project I got to do today. I'm going to be taking the old tub off of the trailer that I need to use to put some other parts on and whatnot and take over to the shop where I'm building the YJ. In order to do that, I have to fire up the crane today to lift it off. I also have some stuff, some old wheels and stuff that I took over to the swap meet that never got sold. So I'm going to be firing up the crane, and we're going to be moving that stuff in the yard. So why don't you come over and join me, and I'll give you a few specs on the crane. Hey, welcome to my reality Jeep life daily vlog of 2013 with me, the Vermont Jeepgirl. Glad you can join me today. I am sitting in the cab. I'm sitting here in the cab of my Louisville, my Ford L8000, my crane, my big boom, the thing I move around Jeep parts in the yard and other things. At any rate, I'm going to start the old girl here in a minute, but before I start her, I wanted to go over a few of her specs. I know you all want to know about her specs. Okay, my crane is a Louisville, a Ford L8000. The engine is a 3208 Cat diesel with a Fuller Eaton 13-speed Road Ranger transmission, tandem rear axle, and a Hendrickson suspension with an 18-foot flatbed out back here. The boom itself is a National 656 boom. It's got 100 foot of reach. With the jib swung and telescoped, it has a 12.5 ton capacity. I've been operating the crane now since I believe 2007. I've been operating the crane. The work that I have done with the crane includes tree work. It includes setting trusses for contractors, taking down timber frames for a gentleman in town, Green Mountain Timber Frames. He takes down old barns. I come with the crane, I help him dismantle it. He brings it to his shop where he rebuilds it, reassembles it. I will go to his shop and he'll lift the pieces in place and put it back together. He will then sell them, dismantle it, and then reassemble on he'll reassemble them to his customer. I've also set solar panels. I've set insulation, 4x8 insulation panels for a solar house. Let's see, what else have I set with the crane? Nowadays, I like to start the crane up and move my stuff around the yard with it. Somebody asked, why do you do that? Because I can. That's why I do that. I've also used it to pull engines out of my projects. I have the kind of yard that you can't roll around an engine hoist. It's impossible. So with the crane, it makes it a lot easier. I've moved, I've lifted a full 95 Cherokee with it. That was one of our parts Cherokees we had. I have a picture of that. I've moved cars before off of trailers, onto other trailers, off of trailers, into spots, you name it. The crane is awesome to have. I love my crane. She's been sitting for a little while here, and I'm going to try to start her now so she can build some air pressure so that I can start working out in the yard. So let's give her a whirl and keep our fingers crossed that she'll start. I'm going to go outside. I have to dig a little bit of the snow out to where my outriggers are going to set down and my stabilizers. And I'll see you in a few minutes. The crane has built built up enough air now, so now I can set my outriggers and I can lift my boom. I know it's a little noisy right now, but in a minute I'm going to move you further back, so hopefully the noise won't be so loud. So now what I'm going to do is set my outriggers down. And then I'll have to move to the other side to level it with the level. Right now I'm going to set my stabilizers down and I'm going to level the crane off. Side angle is good. What I'm going to do is set the stabilizers in the back down to lift the back up just a little bit so my level is level. Good. Okay, now that the outriggers are down and the stabilizers are down and I am totally level, I am ready to release the ball, the tension off the ball, so that I can disconnect it and I can lift my boom. Now that I've released the tension off of my ball, I can disconnect the hook off the back of the deck. This is a 110-pound ball. I want to give the ball a good once-over to make sure that nobody's fiddled with it. The nuts are tight, they're in place, the shiv is right, the cotter pin. A couple of years ago, when the price of metal went through the roof, someone tried to steal the ball off our crane. They had gotten one nut off and they couldn't figure out how to get the ball off. So it's a good practice to always check your equipment before you use it. And that, my friends, is how I clear my trailer off. So now I could use my trailer. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me, isn't that overkill? Well, put it this way. I'm only one person, and I know I'm a strong girl. But how the hell was I supposed to hoof that over the wood pile, over the other junk Jeeps, to get into the spot where it's at? So guess what? If I can use my crane, I'm going to use my crane. Since the crane isn't running right now and she's shut off, I'd like to show you something that's really important on the crane, and that's going to be the chart, the weight chart that I use. Let me undo you here and bring you over. Okay, here we are up on the controls. I don't know, I'm hoping that the sun isn't going to be blocking out what you need to see here. Over here, let's show you. Here, hang on a second here. I'd like to show you a few of my controls that I have when I'm operating the crane. And let's see if you guys can see that. These are my 4 levers. And then I got 3 other ones over here. These are my outriggers on the right side and the other side. And then these are the back stabilizers. Then we have 4 knobs here that we use. One is to make the boom go up and down. This one is to swing the boom from right to left. This one is to telescope the boom in and out. And this one is so the winch can come up and down. Back here, there's a little red button. This is the emergency shut-off. If you ever needed to shut down the crane, the engine, you push the button and the engine would automatically shut down. This right here is an anti-tube lock, and what it does is it prevents the operator of the crane for sucking in the ball, or if you have a rider on the ball, such as in tree work, so that you don't accidentally suck them up inside the end of the jib. All right. Over here we have our level, which right now she's a little off level because she's sitting on uneven ground, but we don't have the boom in the air, so that's okay. That's what the outriggers and the stabilizers are for. And over here we have a chart. And this chart is very, very important. Let's see if I can explain this properly. For the angle of the crane, as it goes up, it has different capacities to what it can lift and what it can pick. When the boom is in the most upright position, it's capable of lifting a lot heavier weight. When the boom is down a lot lower, it can't pick as much. Now, when I was running it today, I had only 1.5 booms out. This stuff here in this yellow zone is for the 2 jibs, which are on the side of the boom, which we didn't use. We don't need to use this. This is if we're going up 100 feet. So where I was at today, I was about at 45 degrees. And how do you know your degrees? There's a thing on the boom up there. It's got like a little pointer on it, and as the boom raises, that dial there will move with it, and you'll know at what degrees the boom is. So let's just say it's at 45 degrees. So we come down to our chart. This is hard to see. So we come down to our chart and we look at 45. Here's our 45 degree. We have 2 extensions out. 1, 2. Okay. We're at 45 degrees and we have 2 extensions out. So if we're at 45 degrees and we have only the 1 boom, we can pick up to 3,800 pounds. If we extend that out to the second boom, we can only pick 2,400 pounds. The higher the boom, the bigger the pick. Okay, that's something you need to remember. But anyway, I just wanted to show you my chart that I use and how I go about doing it. Now, this one here, like I said, this is an anti-tube lock. I will take you down and show you on the cable where the other sensor is. Okay, right here we have the ball of the crane that we used earlier, and if you follow the cable up, you see the little red block, and then you will see hanging off of there, let's see if I can zoom in, hanging off of there is another device, that silver device. That device sets off an alarm if this red block here starts to lift up, because when it lifts up, it'll send a signal back over to where the operator on the crane is, telling him that this ball is in that zone. You don't want the ball in that zone. Oops. Zoom out. Now, that piece that you see with the big green line on it, that is one of the jibs. What that would do is you would swing that out, flip the pins into the end, and on the end here, this piece here can pull out and you have another extension. So there is 4 extensions that can go on and can reach up to 100 feet. Oh yeah, by the way, I also use my crane to pull my engines out of my Jeeps. And someone made a comment the one day of, don't you think that's a little excessive? You know what my response is to that? Hell no. I have the equipment. I'm gonna use it. And if I want to pull the engine out of my Jeep, I'm going to. If I want to move Jeep parts around my yard, I'm going to. I don't think it's excessive. I think it's badass. It's freaking cool. How many people do you know can do that? Thanks for hanging with me today, and I hope y'all have a great night.